is but to tell you that from your writing and the question given to you, when I looked at your references, you understand the reasons as to why you couldn't harmonize the expected thoughts, because all your references you couldn't lay hands on references that will give you the expected informations to make your presentation on the argument. The argument is for you to give us a narrative on how the pre-colonial religious and political system is then connecting it to the influence it's having on our today governance system, which your work did not give a clear cut of such understanding. And that, to me, has reduced to a large extent the strength on the validity of your information. Because if you had gotten the right information or documents to inform you, you would have gotten a better grasp of what that topic is aiming at. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback of this team. Okay, Goodness, go ahead, please. Goodness, go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to ask for the way I was supposed to look at it. From the topic, it was the pre-colonial, then religious, and the political structure and the impact on governance.
Yes, I'm listening.
And I want to understand the light which I was supposed to look at it, sir. You don't mind helping me out with that, sir.
All right. If we are to go through your paper together, you see, in a discussion such as this, it's more like a logical and a straightforward question that you are to give us an understanding on the various reflections on our pre-colonial religious and political system, which a number of persons used to segment it into the three major divisions of Nigeria, which were the northern, the eastern, and the southern region. Now, looking at that, you will come to develop an understanding on how those systems of governance, both in their religious angle and their political angle, is influencing or has influenced our present governance system. And when you look at it, we have the centralized, the non-centralized society in the pre-colonial time, largely. Now, the political system in the north has shown strength in hierarchical order. The political leadership is given to some certain, it's a hierarchical discourse. It has promoted modesty, it has promoted respect for constituted authority. This pattern of discussion will show strength to how you are reflecting information on the governance system. Because if we look at our governance system today, it's more of a system that lacks some of those basic cultural training that Nigerians were able to imbibe, grow up with, in the sense that when going for decision in government used to call on traditional rulers, religious bodies, to give them informed decisions before constituted authorities make their policies. These are reflections as to how traditional or pre-colonial political system in perspectives are showing strength to our governance system. Similarly, with our religious bodies, there is that there's that relationship with religion and the political system, because it shows that religious leaders played a very major or significant role in how governance system in Nigeria is being decided on. That is why we have the two religious associations that decisions or councils are sought from. The Christian Association, the Christian Association of Nigeria, and same with the Islamic Council of Nigeria, because of those understanding. If you had put your thoughts in that manner of perspective or in that segmentation, you would have been seeing that you are reflecting the thoughts as to what the topic is trying to imply.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I think it was just the problem with the understanding of the topic, because I saw the pre-colonial, then there was a comma, then religious. So it was more like I thought it was just the pre-colonial, the religious, because and the political structure because of how the topic was organized. But thank you so much, sir, for your clarification on the topic.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Steve. Thank you so much, Goodness, for your presentation. Okay, so do well to have an amazing day ahead. Kindly leave the call now, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye. Bye-bye. Hi, Joseph. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today. How are you?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Joseph. Congratulations for making it to this stage of the competition. And you have 10 minutes for your presentation. Please go ahead. Your time starts now. Joseph, can you hear me? Joseph, can you hear me?
I couldn't hear you before, but I can hear you now clearly.
Okay, I said thank you so much for joining. Please go ahead and do your presentation. Your time starts.
All right, thank you, everyone. Okay, thank you for this opportunity. Well, we're given an opportunity to write about the pre-colonial religious and political systems and their influence in modern governance. Well, for my write-up, I cited that Nigeria as a country is a country that you cannot define Nigeria without looking at its diversity, religiously and political diversities. In essence, Nigeria is, like most historians say, a colonial creation. So we have diverse groups such as the Thieves, the Efiks, Ibibios, Yorubas, Igbos. And when we mean ethnic group, these are indigenous groups that identify themselves as a polity, as a body, a society. And so before the colonial era, these various groups were actually nations, independent nations of their own. They weren't just a society of people that were together, but they had systems, political systems, systems of security and religious systems. For example, in the Yoruba, the western part of modern Nigeria, we have in the western part of modern Nigeria, we have the Yoruba societies, the Ife, the Ebas, Oyo states, and so on. So the Yorubas had a political system of rulers known as Obas. This was a centralized system with other institutions such as the Oyomesi together with it. In the northern parts of modern Nigeria, we saw the emirate system where the emirs ruled supreme. They were the spiritual heads as well as the political heads of their empires. And when you come down to the southeastern part and the middle belt of contemporary Nigeria, we have the Igbo societies that were decentralized, and as well as the Igala societies. These were decentralized societies whereby the political system was organized around the village system and elders and the society of aged men. However, my concern in that research was to note how this political system still influences governance in today. And I cited how the traditional rulers, such as the Oba and the emirs, and other rulers in every society, go to Igala, Chief, Ibibio, Fulani, all these societies are still in existence today. And I made mention of the Oba, the Emir, the Onis, and how they influence modern governance. For instance, a perfect example would be a recent happenings, such as the protests prior to today. I think beginning of or middle of last week, the president of Nigeria, current president of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, he called in some representing traditional rulers such as the Oba and the Emir. They weren't second thoughts or called as secondary personnel. They were the main attention of the meetings because they were called to organize their people. So we see that these political systems of pre-colonial times, it still exists. It goes beyond ethnicity as we see it. It is the identity of the local people. And so most indigenous people, they still have this idea that, okay, this is my ruler, these traditional rulers and this traditional system are the right system. They still don't identify with the contemporary national Nigeria. And so we see how these emirs, they are able to influence their communities and obas and chief rulers. They are able to influence their communities. And also the Nigerian constitution allows for the traditional rulers to play advisory roles. Therefore, even though they are not given explicit power by the constitution allows for them to, play advisory roles, and the local government officers and chairmen respect these decisions. They have been more recently, I think 2024, the what's it called? The budget for 2024 included a huge sum for rehabilitating the traditional route system, such as providing SUVs and monthly stipends, as well as training them on conflict and resolution. It shows that they are still part of the system of governance in Nigeria today. And I also made mention of the pre-colonial religious system. As you already know, Nigeria is a country you cannot define without mentioning religion and tribe. So religion is it's part of the Nigerian society, and I made mention particularly the Islamic religion, because Islam had prevailed in Nigeria before colonial times. It didn't come as a tool that was used to colonize Nigeria, unlike Christianity. So Islam had already been there since the 15th century, coming from the northern part of Africa, and social phenomena such as the trans-Saharan trade also influenced the rise of Islam in Nigeria. So this gave rise to the religion, and subsequently, most significantly, was the influence of the Jihad of 1804, Usman Dan Fodio. However, one thing I made mention of is that Islam is not just a religion. Those who practice Islam see Islam as the right way of life, which means it goes beyond beliefs. It has to be part of governance too. So pre-colonial Nigerian religion, Islamic religion, it really made this local people, particularly in the north, to organize beliefs of Islam. It was beyond practice. It was their civilization. And so looking at today, we see that the constitution makes room for the Sharia courts, although it is civil matters such as marriages and so on, but it makes provision citing that anyone who chooses in a civil matter to be judged under the Sharia law has the right to do so. And most importantly, one thing that I emphasized was that the Islamic religion has governance in the sense of policies. We see that in today's government, much emphasis is laid on special, or how do I put it, special policies that are geared towards the north, such as security and education, whereas these are things that have already been established in other parts of Nigeria. But the fact that these policies are still driven towards the north, it kind of causes a rift between the northern and the rest of Nigeria, whereby the other parts see the situation as if the north is given special attention and all. And most importantly, the Islamic religion has created a divide that religion could not be rooted by colonialism, even though the institution of colonialism and the modern system of government was strong, but it could not erode that. And so there has been a divide of Islam and non-believers. So we see electoral processes, campaigns, and political posts being divided, making sure that okay, there is enough for Islam and other religion, particularly Christian religion. And in my essay, quickly, I also cited that these pre-colonial systems will help to.
I'm so sorry to cut it short, but your time is up. Yeah, so thank you so much for your presentation. Just thank you.
Good afternoon, Joseph.
Good afternoon, sir.
I really must commend your seamless flow, right?
Thank you, sir.
You presented your work seamlessly. Even though most of what you said are not reflecting on your work. Okay, because as you were talking, I was flipping through your work. However, I will commend you because it's not easy to.
Thank you, sir.
To bring up something like this, very informative. It would have been more appreciable if you had included some citations on your work, right? It is just very.
Yes, sir.
It's just there, and it has no title. You didn't include the title. Assuming I didn't know of the title, I would have been confused a bit. And also, there are no subdivisions, subheadings on your work to have made it much easier for anybody who might find your work interesting to have a quick grasp of your logical flow or transition. But I still would commend you. Let me quickly point this out to your referencing. Your referencing, you have just two referencing, and I'm wondering, how could you have gotten all this information just with these two referencing, these two sources? So in case of next time, try to
I was a bit
just let me learn first. So in case of next time, you just try to consult as many sources as possible. As many sources as possible. We have a lot of authors, we have a lot of writers in this subject, area. So you try as much as, possible to consult the library. Don't be an armchair scholar. Don't sit in the comfort, of your home or comfort of your space to, extract everything from the internet. We have a lot of false information on the internet these days. Anybody can just wake up to, put up anything on the internet, his sentiments, anything he or she feels, can sell on the internet. They'll just put up and you just go there and, extract them. And okay, so in as much as this is, I'm not vitiating the authenticity of this, also try to, bring in some known, sources. We have in the indigenous writers, so you back them up with this, with in-text citation, okay?
Yes, sir. It's just that I got a mail saying that the reference shouldn't go beyond 50 words. That's why I left a lot of them out, sir.
No matter what. Yes, there must always be those those restrictions, but understand the importance and the place of referencing. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ainan, for your feedback. Thank you so much. Okay, Dr. Steve, please, we'd like you to add to what Ainan had said.
All right. Joseph, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Just like my colleague has made mention of points like the lack of topic and all others, I will not say anything on that, but only to correct some of your perspective, because I
Yes,
believe,
sir.
like I said to one of the participants, is that this competition is to be able to strengthen the unity of Nigeria and to know the value of our historical fact. In your verbal presentation, you were making reference to statements like Islam being the religion of the North is not correct. You are discussing the influence of religion on as to northern policies, which is creating divide. It's also showing that you have not taken time to understand the pre-colonial religious and political system, but rather you have allowed whatever is forming your thoughts as to happenings in around you in the country to be the influence, because when you make it look like it's an influence of not Islamic northern policies and the likes, it's not, you are not putting historical discussion in perspective. But what the question is desiring to get out of you is to give us an understanding on what the pre-colonial religious and political
Hello, sir.
system.
Dr. Steve, please hold on. Joseph has left the call. So I think his next call.
Don't say Islamic religion has created a divide in the country. That is also a statement that can create more divides than solving issues. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your feedback, Dr. Steve. So just I hope you heard what Dr. Steve and Anand said, okay? And hope you put that into consideration next time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for joining me. All right, thank you. So do have an amazing and a wonderful day.
Thank you so
Please
much.
do have to exit the meeting.
student of the University of Lagos studying actual science. The topic of my essay is the pre-colonial, religious, and political system of Nigeria and their influence on governance in Nigeria. To start with, there were different autonomous kingdoms in Nigeria prior to the inception of the British colonial rule in 1914, each with its own political organization, custom, and religious belief. Among the significant ethnic groups were the Hausa Fulani in the north, the Yoruba in the southwest, and the Igbo in the southeast. Each of these political which have their own political system. An instance of the Hausa Fulani combining political and religious authority was the Emir-led Islamic dominant known as the Sokoto Caliphate, and the Igbo also had a more decentralized form of government, whereas the Yoruba has a semi-centralized monarchical headed by the Oba, who function as both a political and a spiritual leader. To the end, in modern Nigeria, with traditional leaders like Emre or Oba and village elders still have a say in local and religious decision making, my essay will look at how this pre-colonial tradition have influenced modern Nigeria. To start, a modern nation state is an issue that goes so much further than the establishment of authority and governance. Nigeria, even before the colonial time period, what is now Nigeria was geographically divided by various ethnic groups. Political system. The pre-colonial social political system of Nigeria, in conjunction with results from post-colonial politics, have had huge implication for governance. Prior to the colonial period, what is now Nigeria consisted of a diversity of independent kingdoms and empires that were brought together under British control in 1914. There are also Fulani in the north, the Yoruba in the southwest, and the Igbo.
Few minutes for him to join back. Thank you.
I actually lost my network. I'm so sorry, I actually lost my network. So I'm going to start from what is now Nigeria consisted of a diversity of independent kingdom and empire. They were brought under the British control. For the Hausa Fulani, this means being part of the Sokoto Caliphate, an expensive Islamic kingdom that wielded substantial power over political and religious life throughout much of sub-Saharan Africa. The hereditary ruler of Emir was head of state and responsible for the proper administration and kingdom of the caliphate, which more often than not operated under traditional council rule, allowing decisions to be passed down through elders. And beyond this political structure, the pre-colonial period in Nigeria also showed an abundance of religious tradition, the ancestral worship, and the enemy's belief of industrial African religion based upon the veneration of spiritual forces emanating from nature has since time immoral has been prevalent throughout much of the region. The spread of Islam and Christianity in turn introduced new belief systems that also grew powerful over time, living alongside or systematically interacting with the existing religious scene. How the influence of this pre-colonial political and religious system could be seen as motorcycle mode in Nigerian government can be examined for traditional institutions of authority, including the Emir, Oba, and the village elders, still possess considerable influence in local as well as religion decision making, even in post-colonial era. And traditional religion become an instrument as check and balance in the political system that roles and powers have been accommodated to various extent in the official political system of the country. It also adds up to blending. It also adds to blending point somewhere between traditional governance and modern form. The traditional religion of Hausa land, like that in many other parts of Africa, was organized at the clan level. Every shrine had an hereditary chief priest designated to look after the welfare of each town. Most of the rituals and sacrifices were done by traditional priests, as mentioned in the Kano Chronic, consisted mostly on food, especially millets or animal offering. By those sacrifices, they could keep the peace and stability of the people. Hausa religion revolted around a court manifestation of belief regarding one deity which manifested as the god known as Tusiburun and Randaya. The Sokoto Caliphate of the Hausa Fulani, for instance, was governed by a system not too much from that which existed in Igbo land, with an emir of Kano, emir of Sokoto, and emir of Zazu, which is known as Zaria rather, and each had a different empire as a state to manage the affairs of the kingdom. They also constituted a council of traditional elders and religious scholars to determine policy for the community in both spiritual, temporal manner. The Yoruba also believe there's a supreme being called Eledumare or Olorun, but Orisha are the various deity in their religious practice. We have Ifa, we have Ishu, known as Trickster, the divinity of mischief. The Yoruba land, the Ishu is also known to have the power over protection, and Bizonova is mostly known as Satan or demon in other religions. So in the Yoruba land, we have the Oba, which are Alafi of Oyo, we have Oni of Ife, we have Oba of Lagos. There's always sought advice from Babalawo, and they also rely on a council of chiefs and elders that help them making key decisions. Unlike the Yoruba, the Igbo also had a less centralized political organization dominated by traditional leaders, such as the Izeniri of Dere Kingdom, and we have the Obi of Onisha. They used to hold village level meeting and council, as well as decision making center. This also focus on local autonomous and community-based law, goes some way to explaining this between which people held or still hold for central government a section of fiction in post-colonial politics. And when it comes to the influence of this pre-colonial period on Nigerian governments, can also be seen in the dynamics of power sharing and resources allocation, the mixture of religion within the country, with Islam dominated in the north, Christianity in the south, also led to religious style being nationalized and ethical politics. This dramatization of commitment has been an important factor in power sharing negotiation and allocation of resources to guide its interests and extend its influence. So in conclusion, the legacy of earlier kingdoms that administrated various ethnic communities under traditional institution of governance proud to the European colonization continue to penetrate the federal structure and religious power dynamic in a country with over 250 dynamic ethnic, 250 distant ethnic groups. As Nigeria continues to navigate the challenges of nation building and democratic constitution, the enduring legacy of its pre-colonial past will undoubtedly continue to shape its political and social strategy, presenting both obstacles and opportunities for the country's future. I have my references here. My references are Atotori Estate 2010, A History of the Yoruba People, which was published at Harmonium Publishing. And we also have Falolati 1999, The History of Nigeria, Westport City, Greenwood Press. And also we also have the last one, which is GD.Y 2016, Christian and Islam and Orisha Religion, through tradition, incorporation, and interaction, which was published in University of California. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sticking to your time. Dr. Steve, please evaluate Hamad. Well, he just left the call, so let's just hold on for him to join. But I think his network is unstable.
Okay. Yes, I want to appreciate you for a job well done. You have shown strength in your oral and written essay, and I must commend you for that. That it does not go. That does not mean the point I'll be observing here is to reduce the value or the strength of your work, but to strengthen it in one way or the other. First of all, I want to say that you have been able to show strength in your writing ability to the harmonization of thoughts, and your reference also a proof to where and how you can get your informations that will be of relevance. But again, I want to ask you this before going forward. Where do you refer to as Hausa region? Do we have Hausa region in Nigeria?
Yes, sir. We also have in Nigeria, we also have in various African countries as well.
They call it Hausa region.
They're not Hausa region, but like we can call them as part of Hausa. For example, we have some of them in Sudan, we have some of them in Namibia and other rest as well.
Listen. Because you are in a competition, there are words that are not validated and you are not allowed to use it. There is nothing like Hausa region. What you are rather referring to is the northern region, which is different from a Hausa region. I want to correct you from the use of some of such statement. And in that angle, I will also say that your work is without a segmentation of thought. I mean here that you did not break down your information by various subtopics so that your reader can have an understanding as to when you are closing up in a thought and reaching or starting another one. The use of subtopic would have helped to give your readers that kind of understanding to where a thought is closed and where another is being opened. Now again, your use of reference is without an index citation, so it could also be argued that you only use another information and build your thoughts, then you only brought in the reference. What do I mean here is that as a writer, in this context, you are supposed to do an in-text citation. These are the few points I will want to make reference to because I just received your work and I have to do a flip down to see or have an idea to what you are about presenting. And that is the information I want you to put in mind so that you can improve on next time.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Actually, the essay was actually 1,500 words from 1,500 words. So if there was no limit to the word, I would have actually put a lot of segmentation and also a lot of references. Because of the limitation of the word, I have to like reduce most of my segmentation and the references to accommodate 1,500 words. But regardless, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Doctor has touched on the areas that I would have talked on. So I'm sure he has heard Doctor and he's going to work on that to improve on himself. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we hope that you put all the corrections into consideration any other time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next day, it will be sent to an email. So please do well to exit the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. for joining us today. Thank you so much for the dedication and commitment all through the stage of this competition. Okay, and go ahead, please. This particular stage of the competition. And to our viewers out there, we want to encourage you all to stay tuned on our page, because we have a lot of stages. We have the quarterfinal stage, we have the online district challenge that is coming up very soon. We have the semifinals and the other stages. So please do well to stay put on our pages. So at this stage, I'll call up